So today we are going to discuss about the concept called cross validation. Now, again, we had a good discussion about the k nearest neighbor in detail. And now what we want to discuss about is still we did not get an idea that how to find the value of k, right? Still we are not sure how to find the value of k, how to determine the value of k. Till this point, where what we have learned, right? Again, this is very critical concept, and this is very important concept. Till this point, what we have learned is that I have a data set. From this data set, what we are doing is we are dividing the data into train. Let's assume that I am giving 70% to the train data, and I am dividing it to test, where 30% I am giving to the test data. After that, what we are doing, after that we are actually doing one thing, that we are creating a model knn and then testing on the test data and finding the accuracy. So one idea to find basically the best value of k is, so the idea which we have, the first option which we have, the first option or first idea, you can say, the first idea you can say is basically, one idea which we have is basically, I'll have, let's say k is equal to 1, right? I'll basically create a set of cases, right? I'll create a set of cases when k is equal to 1, k is equal to 2, k is equal to 3, and so on, right? I will have the train data. I'll have the train data, right? I'm using this train data in each of the scenarios, and I will get the accuracy. I'll get the accuracy of the model. Where accuracy, let's say for D train, when the k is equal to 1, is coming out to be 78%. If I am using k is equal to 2, then let's say the accuracy coming out to be 85%. Let's say k is equal to 3, I am getting the accuracy of 89%, and so on. Where accuracy we already know what it is. On the D test, on the D test, what we are doing is we are finding the number of correct predictions upon number of correct predictions upon total number of records, total number of D test records, right? That is what we discussed, if you guys remember the confusion matrix concept. Now what we have to do is, once this is done, right, I can very well say that, okay, or what my D test is. My D test is nothing but it's a data. D test is again is nothing but a set of data which consists of xi's and yi's, such that xi belongs to the real number and yi's belongs to the two classes, that is 0 and 1, because we are dealing with the classification problem, where I is equal to 1 to n, 1 to, I can say, n test, whatever the values, right? But n test. Now what I will do here is that I am taking this values of xi's, right? I am taking the values. Let's say this xi, the first xi is x1, which is my query point, right? The first xi is x1, which is my query point, and I am predicting my yq, and this yq will get compared with the original yi. Same way we'll have the second record xq, where xq is 2, and I'll get some yq, which I will again compare with yi. If it is matching, then it is correct predictions. So typically what happens, is basically, if I try to create a plot, right, where I have in my x-axis, I will have the values of k's. This is my case, right? K equal to 1, k equal to 2, k equal to 3, and so on. And here I have the accuracy, 0 to 1. My accuracy will be from 0 to 100%, right? 1, that is 100%. typically what happens is that when I have k equal to 1, I'll have some accuracy here and it will increase and then it will decrease, right? This is the typical scenario, right? This is like a typical scenario which happens, not always, but yeah, typically this is what happens. We'll again see that in the coding and other stuffs as well. Now let's assume that when my k is equal to 3, I am getting the maximum accuracy. Let's assume that when my k is equal to 3, I am getting the maximum accuracy. Let's say 95%, right? Let's say 95%. So now from here I can say that k is equal to 3, giving me the best accuracy, on my d test when I am using d train as my training data, right? So now I can say that with d train data and k is equal to 3, I am getting 95% accuracy, on d test, right? Both the statements are almost the same. But now, can I claim this? Basically, if we think logically, right? What is the objective of machine learning? The objective of machine learning is that I have a data. On that data, I am, let's say, using some of my data set. Let's say this is my train data. I am using this data to train the model. And then I will do the testing of the model. And then on the unseen points, if my accuracy is coming 95%, then I will be very much confident, right? That is what happens normally in machine learning, right? But here what's happening? I am using the train data to train the model and I am checking the accuracy with the test data. That means this test data is no longer unseen data. I already seen that the model already seen the data because I created the model on the train data, right? I already created the model on the train data. I am checking my accuracy from the test data. So basically, this train data is helping me to decide the model, that how many nearest neighbor, and then this test data is helping me to check the accuracy of the model. That means there is no unseen data, right? You are creating a model based on the train and you are using the test data for finding the accuracy. That means there is no unseen data at all. So I will not be very much confident with this statement. The reason being, I am giving the exposure of this test data to the model for finding the accuracy. So now what to do? Basically, if I go back here, from here I can say that this thing, like this outcome which we are getting, we can say that it's not very much that this is known as generalization. Basically, I can say that function, or I can say that model which we are creating, the function generalizes better if we perform if we perform or I can say function generalizes better if we perform best on unseen data points, right? Unseen data points. This is basically known as generalization. Generalization. This is like very important concept, right? It's very important concept. Now, what is the solution for it? Like, how can we take care of that? How we make my test data unseen data? How can we do that? Because I need some unseen data for me. Till this point, what we are doing is basically we have the data dn. We are dividing that data into dtrain and dtest. That is what we are doing. Dtrain data is helping me to find the nearest neighbor, right? And dtest data is actually giving me the accuracy, right? Or I can say basically finding me the value of k, right? If it's helping me to find which is the best value of k based on the accuracy. So as of now, what's happening is it is helping me to do the calculation with the points which we have, and this is helping me to find the value of k, right? So obviously I cannot say that if I get a new future points, it will give me same percentage of the accuracy of 95%. I cannot say that because again, this data is exposed and this data is also exposed, right? This is what is happening till this point. This is what we learned till this point. So the solution for this is basically I have the data dn, right? I will divide this data into three parts. I will divide this data into three parts. The first part is dtrain, which will obviously help me to do the calculation, the nearest neighbors, right? Suppose a new point will come in, I will, because based on this data only, I am finding the classification, right? Because we are using this data to classify the new point. So this is helping me to check the nearest neighbors. I will have a D validation, also known as CV, devalidation data. Validation data is helping me to find the value of k. That means which k value is the best, right? How which k value is the best I can choose in the model. So that will give me the value of k. So this is actually helping me to find a function which is nothing but knn, where k is coming from here and nn is coming from here. And I will have one more data which is dtest. Now this test data I did not touch till this point, right? It's unseen data for the model, right? So now what I will do, once the model is done, once the model is created, model is tested with the cross validation, with the validation data. After that, I will use this data to actually run in the model, and I'll get some predictions. And from there, I can say, like, if this data is also giving me a same accuracy, then I can very much comfortable, right? I will be very much comfortable. So now let's assume that I am giving this as 60%. Let's say I have 100% of the records, right? 60% I am giving to this, which is the train data. 20% I am giving to the validation data, and 20% I am giving to test data. or this can further be changed. Like it's up to us how we want to divide the data. So let's say I can give 70%, maybe 10% here and 20% here. That is up to us how, or maybe the business how they want. Right now, if I will get, let's say I'm getting accuracy from this two, I'm using dtrain and dcv to calculate the accuracy. The accuracy which we are getting is, let's say, 89%, right? 89%. So now what we can come up with, what statement we can come up with? Accuracy of, or I can say accuracy is 89% with let's say 3 nearest neighbor. We can say that is what we got on unseen points, right? If I'm getting 89% accuracy in this using train and cv, and if I'm passing test also in the function and I'm getting, let's say, 89% accuracy only, then I can very well say that I'm getting 89% accuracy with 3 nearest neighbor when we are actually running the unseen points, right? That is what happening, and I will be very much confident here. I will be really confident here because these points which I have, 20% of the points are unseen, right? It never be used in the model. So I can say that these are my new, let's say, customers. I want to know whether these customers will purchase product or not, and I am passing passing the data in the model and getting 89% accuracy. So I can very well say that I am getting 89% accuracy on the unseen data points as well. So here I can say I applied the model, on d test and got the accuracy of 89%. And 100 minus 89, that is 11. That 11% is known as generalization error. That 11% which we are getting is known as generalization error. Okay, that is what the entire idea of cross validation. So basically, in a simple summary, I have a data set. I am dividing this data set into 3 parts. This is my test train data, this is my cv data, and this is my test data. On the train data, I am training the model. From cv, I am checking the value of k, which k is giving me the best accuracy. And then on the test data, which is unseen points, unseen data, I am applying this model and getting some accuracy. If this accuracy is same as this accuracy or nearby that, I will be very much confident that yes, things are working fine. All right. So that is what the cross validation is all about. But now there is one problem with that. What is the problem? The problem is that I have d train, or let's say I have dn, right? I have dn, which consists of d train, dcv, and d test, right? Machine learning is a technique where if I pass more number of data, better the machine will learn. But here what you are doing, you are reducing the data, you are making it 60%, you are making this as 20%, and you are making this as 20%. Because of this cross validation technique which we are applying, so that I can have some unseen points, my train data is reducing, right? It's reducing, and that is a problem. Because I need a good amount of data set so that my machine will learn better. So somehow what I want is that I want to use this two data somehow for training as well as cross validation. That means this 80% of the data I want to somehow use for training as well as for finding the accuracy of the model, right? Because more the training data, better the algorithm will be. Now here, my training data is reduced because I splitted the data into three parts, right? So now what is the solution for that? What is the solution for that? Let's try to understand that solution. That solution is known as k-fold cross validation, right? This solution is known as k-fold cross validation, which is again a very interesting concept. Let's try to understand that. Let's assume that this is my data. This is my D train data, right? I split the data into train and test only, right? I am not splitting the data into cross validation. So basically I had DN. In that DN, I had D train, let's say 80% of the records, and I have D test, which is 20% of the records, right? This is my 80% of the records. This is my 80% of the records. I did not break it further to cross validation. Okay. So this is my 80% of the records, which is retrain. That is 80%. Now what I will do is I will have multiple splits of my data, right? If you see here, let's assume that I have 1,000 records, right? Let's assume that I have 1,000 records here. Okay, that is like the total 80% records is 1,000 records. What I am doing is I'm splitting this 1,000 records into 10 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm splitting the data into 10 parts, right? And then what I will do is I will use this 9 parts. I will use this 9 parts for training the model. And then I will use the 10th part for checking the accuracy of the model. Okay. Same way, I will have another round where I will use this 9 part to train the model, and I will use this part to check the accuracy of the model. Okay, let's try to understand in detail by writing some numbers here or writing some idea here. Let's say I have a train data. I here that table is very big, so let me go ahead and create a small table. So let's say I have a train data. So DN was there. I splitted the data into D train, which consists of 80% of the records. And let's say I have D test, which consists of 20% of the records. I wanted somehow to create a function which will take care of this accuracy as well as the nearest neighbor calculations. And I want to make this as unseen data. I want to somehow make this as unseen data. I don't want to use this to get the accuracy of the model. I don't want that, right? So what I will do, I will have this train data. I will have this train data. Let's say I'm breaking this train data into 5 parts, right? I'm breaking this train data into 5 parts. Let's say this is D1, D2, D3, D4, and D5. All right. And now, and again, this 5 parts will be of equal size. It's a equal size parts which are randomly selected by the algorithm. It's random. It's random. Now what I will do, this is my first step where I am doing the split of the data. This is my second step where I am using the train data and creating multiple splits, multiple folds, right? This is my D train data. This is my D train data. And then the third step will be very interesting step. Now what I will do here is that I will use k is equal to 1, k is equal to 2, k is equal to 3, and so on, right? But before that, if I do like this, right? Before that, what I have to do, I have to break this k equal to 1 further, right? So what will happen? Let me go and zoom this part, right? Here I will have k equal to 1, k equal to 1, k equal to 1, k k equal to 1 and k equal to 1. Here my train data will be what? My CV data will be what? And my accuracy. My train data will be D1, D2, D3, D4, and my CV data is D5. Okay. Then I will have D1, D2, D3, D5, D4. Then D1, D2, D4, D5, D3. Then D1, D3, D4, D5, D2. Then D2, D3, D4, D5, D1. So here you can see I'm actually using all the parts. First of all, I'm making this as CV, then I'm making this as CV, then I'm making this as CV, then I'm making this as CV, and so on. Right? I am actually making this my D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7, D8, D9, D10. First of all, I'm making D10 as my CV data, which will help me to find the accuracy of the model. Then I'll make D9 as my CV data to find the accuracy of the model and so on. That is what I'm doing here, right? I divided the data into 5 parts and then I'm using each of the fold for finding the accuracy. Let's say in here, in the very first iteration, let's say my accuracy coming out to be 0.70, right? Here in the second iteration, my accuracy coming out to be 0.72. In third, let's say I'm getting 0.68. Fourth, let's say I'm getting 0.74. And let's say in fifth, I'm getting 0.80. So these are my accuracies when k is equal to 1, right? I'll take the average of this. I'll take the average of this. Okay. Now, same way, this is for 1. Same way, the story will happen for 2 also. When neighbors are 2, same story will happen. When neighbors are 3, same story will happen, and so on. And it will generate a chart. When k is equal to 1, what is the average accuracy? When k is equal to 2, then what is the average accuracy? When k is equal to 3, then what is the average accuracy? And so on. I'll get, obviously, this will be, let's assume that this is the average of this is 0.74. Let's assume, I'm not doing any calculation here, but let's assume that 74 is the accuracy. So it will have 74, 0.74. Let's say with 2 neighbors, I'm getting some accuracy. Then 3, I'm getting some accuracy. And then I will plot the chart. Again, it will be something like this. So with this, what I'm doing, I am using my data. I'm folding the data into 5 parts. So this is known as k-fold validation, right? K-fold cross validation. K-fold cross validation. And this k is nothing but 5. This k and the k nearest neighbor k, both are different. Don't confuse with that. This is like how many pieces you want to break the data, the train data. And this k is nothing but the nearest neighbors. Both are different. So this is k-fold validation. In this example, the k is nothing but 5. So 5-fold validation. Right? Once this is done, I got the accuracy from this plot. I got the nearest neighbor coming from, like everything is coming from here, the D train data. Then I will use my test data, right? The fourth step. I will use the test data to get the accuracy. Let's say I'm getting n equal to 3, k equal to 3, accuracy of 3NN model on unseen data points. Unseen data points. Because d test is still unseen, right? D test is still unseen. Now question arises, how will I decide my k-fold validation, the value of k, right? There is a thumb rule. There is nothing like how many k we can go for. There is a thumb rule in the industry. People are using 10 folds. That's why I created here 10 folds. In industry, people are using 10 folds. So it's a 10-fold validation. 10-fold validation, right? Now, so in machine learning, right, everything will come with some problem. So obviously there will be some problem, right? Obviously there will be some problem. You are doing lot many iterations, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for k equal to 1. When I have 5-fold, then let's say k equal to 2 again 5 times, then k equal to 3 again 5 times, like that, right? So it's resource consumption will be there, right? And this k-fold validation can work on other algorithms as well. It's not like it works with knn only, it works with other algorithm as well. It's just we are introduced the k nearest neighbor, so we are applying k-fold here, but k-fold can be applied in any algorithm, right? K-fold is a technique which can be fit on any of the algorithms. So basically the problem which we are getting, problem with k-fold, is that time takes, like it takes time to complete the process, right? Time consuming process. Okay, and let's say how much time? Obviously k times. This k is nothing but the k-fold validation. This many times my overall process will increase, right? So that will increase my overall time, which is again a drawback for this, at least for knn, because see, if my k nearest neighbors coming out to be, let's say 5, I have to go from k equal to 1 till k equal to 5, k nearest neighbor. This is my knn k, and now I have a k-fold validation, k-fold, right? So now here we are actually, let's assume that this k is 10. So this k equal to 1 will run 10 times. K equal to 1, k equal to 1. So it will happen 10 times. Then k equal to 2. This k is nothing but this k, the nearest neighbor k. And this k will run how many times? This k times, right? So when k is equal to, when neighbor is equal to 1, this will run for 10 times. When neighbor is equal to 2, it will again run for 10 times. When neighbor equal to 3, then again it will run for 10 times, and so on. So this will go for k equal to 5. It will go till k equal to 5. So automatically it is 50 times I am running. If I am applying 10-fold validation, I am running 50 times the same model, right? If my nearest neighbor is 5. If my nearest neighbor is higher number, it will also increase. Okay, so that is again one of the problems which we have.